Joining me now is Katie Gearns, the co-author of a new book, also from Sophia Institute Press, called Feast, Faith Flourish, Holistic Wellness in Light of Eternity. Katie, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so in the book you wrote, quote, "Nothing, not even good health, is worth pursuing if it's not in service of our ultimate goal, heaven," end of the quote. So how can women pursue health as a means of getting to heaven?
I think a lot of it comes to being good stewards of ourselves and those around us. And that's such a big mission of ours. We've seen a lot, at least in my generation, of women wanting to go back to homemaking and kind of more embrace that role more across the board. And a lot of it just is tending to those that we love, our spouses, our kids. And really feeding that next generation in wholeness. And that is integrating body and soul. And that's just a really big part of our mission.
I understand, Katie, that your co-author and the photographer of the book are also co-founders of the Ember Collective. Can you tell us how this book is sort of an extension of the work you do as part of the Ember Collective?
Of course. So in 2021, we launched the Ember Journal, which is a quarterly print magazine with the same mission. So holistic wellness in light of eternity. And we really wanted to step away from social media, away from quick sound bites, and get back to this more slow, tactile medium and sharing the wisdom going back to foundations. So much of what we see on social media is just quick, it's new trends, and we want to go back to the beginning and also integrate that into our faith and see how can women still pursue holistic wellness, which can be kind of, get a bad rep sometimes in mainstream, while also prioritizing their faith.
So, Katie, a term that we're hearing a lot more these days is regenerative farming, regenerative agriculture, and you actually talk about that in the book. So can you explain what that is and what it has to do with our Catholic faith?
So, yeah, I mean, a huge part, again, of our mission when we talk about integrating all this, it's finding that harmony between God's creation, not only in us, humans, but also in everything He made around us. And regenerative farming is a huge part of that because we're basically trying to bring back the innate natural health of the land because over the course of generations, so much of what we as humans have done to the land has really destroyed it in a lot of ways. The nutrient value of so many of our foods is not what it once was. Foods that are mentioned in that St. Hildegard's book that you just shared, those foods once had a very different nutrient profile, and we're healing in a different way. We want to get back to that. And so by tending to the land, you not only, can bring back the nourishment of a lot of these good foods, but you also serve the animals better, and the animals in turn serve the land better. And then that just works its way up to us, and we reap the benefits as well.
And speaking of food, I understand there's lots of recipes in the book as well. Do you have a favorite one that you like?
Oh man, I think I really just like the All Souls cakes ones. They're so simple, but I love kind of bringing those traditions in with my kids. What I love about our recipes is that they're always tied seasonally and liturgically, and they're nourishing. I think a lot of recipes that maybe 10 years ago that I would have done for feast days were not the most nourishing, whereas these kind of bring back those recipes while also helping them to serve us in our overall health.
That sounds good, Katie. Usually when I see a recipe book, I first just go to the dessert section. So you've just affirmed that for me. So in your work as a nutritional therapy practitioner, what are some of the common issues that women are coming to you with?
A lot of it for me that I see is hormonal. And honestly, I work a lot with moms. And so we're talking about in between babies, trying to support fertility, but a lot of it is just burnout. Women today are very burnt out, and that manifests in so many different ways, whether it be your hormones, your energy levels, the way we our nervous system regulation, like how are we reacting to the situations around us? Are we able to be calm, or are we extremely reactive? And all of these things play into our role, our vocations. And so a lot of women, it's just, I would say overall, it's just burnout.
Mm. And I'm curious too what you would say about the modern conveniences that we have, so much more than 100 years ago. You know, things like meal delivery, takeout, just having a washing machine. Do you think that some of that convenience has affected our rhythm of life?
Absolutely. And, I'm not one to spurn like convenience because, I value a dishwasher for
Mhm.
sure. But I think when we look at all the conveniences at our fingertips, we can forget to just embrace like the moment to moment living that maybe we were called to and people have done for thousands of years. Simply waking up with the sun or going to bed when it's dark. And in winter, that's just a huge part of health too. Like as an example, in winter, our bodies need so much more rest than they do in summer. And going to bed earlier when it's dark is actually a huge piece in that, for realigning our circadian rhythm. Whereas because of technology, we're so used to just being able to be on our computer up until whatever hour, working as late as we want, getting up with our alarm clock super early, which there can be good in that, but we tend to ignore a lot of the signs of our bodies telling us to slow down.
Mm, yeah, that's so interesting. I would totally advocate for more sleep during the winter. I think that sounds great. So, how can people buy the book and learn more about your work at the Ember Collective?
So the book is available at Sophia Institute. It officially launches today, so it is shipping. You can also get it on Amazon, at Barnes and Noble, um, Catholic Company, a variety of different outlets. But to find us, the Ember Collective, you can follow us on Instagram at theember.co, or our website is www.theember.co. And subscribe to our quarterly magazine because there's a lot more, every season.
Yeah, and it's great that it's in print, like you said, kind of slow down, you're not looking at a screen. So, Katie, thank you so much and congratulations on the book.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
God bless.